Well, look, the doctor said with luscious paternity, you are obviously an intelligent, perhaps even brilliant woman, and can write about your own ticket despite this deception of yours. Indeed, you maintained one for many years. No dumb filly could have pulled that off. He smiled at his own words. But you just can't seem to get it through your head that this medication is good for you, Florence thrown an exact munition with him. Good for stupor and drool, she remarked in resigned defiance, laid up on her back in exaggerated agony on the psychiatrist's couch. I swear, Miss Orville, you seem to want me to discontinue this relationship. You remember, do you not, that I am one of a pathetically few to remain with you despite everything when your game was exposed? Congratulations, my dear doctor, she mocked me. Just your luck, Orville, at least. Most of the others at Blanchetown of the city were open about it, no doubt about their honesty. And you're always passing up the opportunity to relax here as well, the doctor continued. You're not so young a lass anymore, Miss Orville, and those flawed genes of yours can use a rest. I had a good night's sleep, she replied, and that flawed gene remarking nothing, no work, no solo reply, watch it on. You don't know about that, the doctor replied. She gave one loud guffaw at that, but knew better than to speak, for her lingo would have slipped out as it had the previous night. It was during a time of such urgent that she wondered if she was becoming a split or multiple personality. But she was not about to give this still pimply company man the satisfaction of inquiring about that possibility. Look, she finally said, sitting up, you mustn't think I'm not at all grateful for your philanthropy, though goodness knows I'm not, you Cub Scout, but surely you must have other patients in need of your hard-earned and most prodigious expertise. What say you give me your prescription and let me go armed with your compassion so you can stay in good with the others? Why, how considerate you, Miss Orville, the doctor beamed as if he had thought of the idea. And in anticipation of your need, he reached into a desk drawer and pulled out a small sheet of paper and handed it to Florence, who rose to her feet in perfect timing to his gesture. I took the precaution of having your prescription typed up in your outer pants. Oh, thank you, doctor, she murmured. Good luck with the other patients. Good day, Miss Orville, he said as Florence closed the door behind her. Walking through the hall on the way to the elevators, Florence looked over the prescription and muttered the contents rapidly under her breath. When she was at the elevator, she pressed the down button, then backed herself for a few feet to become parallel with a receptacle with a pedal-operated lid. She waited, then the down light button turned off. Florence's foot pressed the receptacle's pedal, her hand crumpled the prescription paper, the bell signaled the elevator's arrival, and her hand opened up, dropping the papers remains into the receptacle. Her foot released the receptacle's pedal, closing its lid shut, and she stalked casually towards and into the open elevator.
Very perfect, thank you. And it's a great book, too. Yes.
I've read it, it's good.
Good. All right, Eddie, then Clara, then Mr. Williford, then Karen, and then Lauren McCall, and Adam Sandler doing their famous terpsichoreal performances for which they're known. Which shall remain formless in the void, as it were. They're both, retuning their act, they say, trying small audiences and the like. Oh, God almighty, thank you so much for that.
Where? I've got issues.
Yeah, I still have a pulse, okay. Alright. Actually, some of the poems were addressing the flag, but, or not the flag, that flag. And I really appreciate that you don't have to say you're doing that, but just having it there gives people a chance to think about, I think of it in terms of like reclaiming it of a sort.
Well, and maybe it can start being some sort of annual event.
Yeah.
Is this Flag Day or something?
Oh,
that's
what
in
a
June.
wonderful
Isn't
day.
it June Flag Day?
It has 48 stars.
This is
Oh,
not
yeah.
the flag. This is
A flag.
It has the 40.
Whatever, we can discuss.
This I found in one of the classrooms at my school in 2009.
Oh my God.
It was still up, hanging in the corner like all the classrooms had flags. And I moved into the room because I was changing rooms, and then I noticed it and I thought, why, that's old. And I had gotten a new one because I was new to that class. I took this down, I said, wait a minute.
You started counting
And
the
I
stars.
started to realize,
You start to count the stripes too.
well, and I realized, this is, okay, this is over 50 years old. And it's been up all that time, and I didn't know, of course, no one noticed, so I kept it as a collector's item.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, it is, I mean, it just shows.
What people don't notice.
Yeah, I mean, there's the flags in the room.
Yeah.
So, Ed, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right, give Eddie a round as he comes in. And then we have Clara, Mr. Williford, and Ed. No, I think he's close. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Is that good? I think that's good.
Hi, I'm Eddie.
All right, Eddie.
Well, I'm gonna read a new one, no, not just because I just wrote it, but, I with these professional musicians, and they just started playing, and this lady started singing it, and she really made this sound real good. My other one is on an album, they turned my poem into a song, and, so I don't know if these are lyrics or what, but, it doesn't have a title yet. But here it goes. Like an uncut diamond, my edges are rough. You raised your hand, and I called you bluff. You held your cards, and I put you in check. But there's always a joker at the bottom of the deck. You cheat when you can, and no one knows what you're holding. And your poker face can make Kenny Rogers feel like folding. Eights and aces and jokers with no faces. The game left you jilted and scarred. Your poker face seems out of place, and your life has been a house of cards. Like an uncut diamond, my edges are rough. You called the house, and I call your bluff. And you know the game, take a hit or stand, and your aces and eights are a dead man's hand. This is I died for a cigarette. I tried to stop smoking, but it seems I can't quit, because each time I tried, I had a nicotine fit. I felt kind of funny. In fact, I went nuts. I was digging in ashtrays for cigarette butts. I remembered the times that I stood up till 4. I was gathering my change for some Arabic store. Now I lay here with cancer when the guilt and regret that I ever lit up my first cigarette. One led to another, and soon it was packs, and I smoked like a train with my lungs on the tracks. I never would listen to the Surgeon General's warning, and I would light up another as I'd awaken each morning. I tried to stop smoking, but I just couldn't quit, and gave up my life to my nicotine fit. So if my money is funny, and my credit still talks, please bury my ashes in a cigarette box. This is the other one that is on a real album, and this band has a 6 album. They turned my poem into a song, but this is how I wrote it as a poem. This is called Dreams of You. If I could have 1,000 dreams and just one would come true, I'd concentrate on one the most, the dream I have of you. I guess it's just my frame of mind, but the picture seems so clear. I feel a loss of self-control whenever you are near. I feel the chill that lovers feel when Cupid pulls his bow, and I know the pain one can't explain to be the only one to know. If I could have 1,000 dreams and just one would come true, I would hold it down with all my might, the dream I have of you. If you could have 1,000 dreams and I was part of one, your single dream would surely mean much more than to have none. Like I was telling them earlier, my little sister is in ICU, and never asked nobody for nothing, or nobody's ever seen me beg. I've always sold my little poster. If anybody's, interested in, a little poster, I'll sign it for you. And it'll be for a car, so I can go see my little sister. My brother passed away just a few months ago, and I couldn't make it to the funeral. I would like to offer any of my poems, and I'll sign them if anybody would like to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. See him over there.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna be in an art gallery, a Blacklight art gallery down at the Minta Art Gallery down on Minna Street at Second and Market on Saturday at 7:30. It's a blacklight show.
This Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. This is wonderful painting. I just reduced it into a little poster because I saw my little posters because I figured that way I don't ask too much, and then people they only get framed way way more expensive than the poem. I mean the poster. Well, they buy my poems and posters too. Anyway.
What's the gallery and the address?
It's called the Minta Gallery.
Demented?
The Minna, M-I-N-N-A, Minna.
Mina Gallery.
Yeah, Saturday starts at 7:30. I have little flyers there, I mean.
Oh, put a few over here when you have a chance, because that's where people can pick up the flyers.
Okay, and it's
Where's
gonna
the
be
Minna
till
Gallery?
2 in the morning. There's a bar there and food and all that kind of stuff. It'll be nice to see everybody there. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope someone would like a poster.
All right, thank you, Eddie. And he has the information for the gallery.
Minna Gallery.
So, all right. And now, it's true, it's time for Clara Sue.
I'd like to read two poems tonight. The first one I wrote for the Chinese New Year this year. So it's the year of the sheep, but some people say it's the year of the goats or the year of the ram. We don't know, which one to use. So I put them all in there. Lunar New Year 2015. Sheep folks, woolly, graze green grass. Goat folks, goatees, click hooves on tree branches. Ram folks, rednecks, big horns, butt heads. Baffling. They order other creatures to guard the months, days, hours, but not the minutes and the seconds. There's room for foul play, inwardly, truly, secretively, the human livestock. So, the next one is it's written in a Spanish verse form called decima, and it is 8 syllables per line. You have to have 10 lines, and it's rhyming. And this poem is titled Decima for Count Ledesma. Count Ledesma sets up a trap made out of books, dusty and old. He calculates what it will hold. If it's a fly, it will just snap. Bring down the house if it's a chap. Lo, here comes a dainty shadow. Could she be from El Dorado? Ledesma takes a closer look. She picks a book, rattles the nook. Wham! The trap shuts, right on schedule. Thank you.
Why is there confusion about which animal it is? I mean, I thought it would be like,
Because they're all the same
They're all the
thing.
same
They're all the
bird.
same. The ram, the goat, and the sheep.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say after a few thousand years they know.
I think that's why there's so many.
Oh, we're confused. Well, that's you.
Yeah, right. We're confused. It's in the translation. Yeah, but seriously, I think it has to do with translation.
Mr. Williford, then Karen,
It's like, what do
then
we call it?
West Mountain J, right? Okay. Give this person a round of applause.
Yay!
Or a rectangle of applause as you so desire.
Good evening.
They're still talking about goats.
Hey, these old people are just getting, sorry.
You got this short
Down and
story, there
back.
you go.
Old people getting rowdy.
Alright, if we're gonna talk about getting rowdy, I'll start out with this new one I wrote. It's called The White Girl. Open the bag, pour some out, hopefully onto a nice big mirror on your living room table, plus if you have naked women around. Razor blade status, chop, chop, chop. Who's in? 8 rails. It's a party. Let's go. Ladies first. Woo! Superman, stealth body, spy mind, sitting fast, moving slow. Where else do you want to go? Drip, drop, there goes the cut. Pass the blunt, roll another. Who's got the bourbon? Cheers to now. The girls want rails on their ass. Why not? It's now. Plus a little wow wow. I call to the olive-skinned brunette with the wry, seductive smile and big ass. Pass the bag. Here we go. Hit the line on the curve of this little princess's tabletop ass. She pushes me over, demands the bag, strokes my dick, lays it back, pours some yay, grabs the straw, blows it up, jumps on me and starts a ride. I love the white girl. Oh yeah, no, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy out there. Yeah, a little crazy out there.
All the women applauded, I could see.
Yeah, right.
It is what it is.
I wanna hear yours, Mike.
Here, we'll do the romantic vision of the world one now after that. Let's see, where's that one at? It's called The Persistence of Memory. Holding you on prom night with love in our outfits and speech and dinner restaurant choice, everything is choice. On the beach with the sun glistening off the clear water of the Caribbean Sea, glorious beauty, bright, clean sand, intoxicating your sense of relaxation. This is the occasion. Life is worth venturing for, to escape the wild animal that chases you on the safari in the wilderness of Africa, guided by experts with backgrounds photographing for National Geographic that were prepared for anything that love could bring. Our hearts intertwined infinitely together until you lost hope for a good world and your heart disappeared with your body to find yourself in India. I'm walking in the park, wondering how these paths were created with such beautiful red, green, yellow, and purple flowers popping up everywhere. It's fantastical, of Willy Wonka sorts, yet so real and natural. Like flying home to see my mom on Mother's Day and giving her flowers I picked at a local park and arranged by color in the shape of a heart. Because when I was 4, she gave me a toy car that changed colors in water and had me wear yellow Chuck Taylors with multicolored shirts. Walking around in a paisley-covered deep blue wool sweater, so soft and hipster in the SF wind, and flashy chill enough that this beautiful lady and homeless person just said they loved the sweater. Oh, to dream of a life where I could live as me and make a memory that time wouldn't make temporary. And this one's called The Seat. It's also a new one. It's not so raunchy. There's this table in this apartment in the Mission District of San Francisco, and I love sitting at it. Now there's a chair with a comfy cushion and no arms, much more functional, but less romantic than the small bench, a foot wide and 4 feet long, that slid in the corner of the room. The gnarly window is there either way, and I lean against the wall and ash out the window into the alley, then take another sip of bourbon. I love this spot. It's the first seat I sat on after getting laid for the first time in San Francisco. I've sat here naked, high as a kite, drunk, coked, tripping, and maybe once sober. I think I'll sit here one day when I'm retired and think about all the times in and out of that corner and all the in-betweens. That's what I think love is, a space and time that's infinite. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ben. I forgot to put it on. All right, Karen Melandu Lagoon, and then West Mountain J.
Where's Mountain?
West Mountain J. You know that Thursday nights here, they have the open, it's an open mic with musicians, so you might have thought that this was that, but.
Oh, Thursday?
I got
Yeah,
some
Thursday
music
nights.
here too. It's springtime, so I got my spring songs. But I think I'm going to do a little bit of something because of what just preceded me. So I'm going to answer that a little bit. I wrote a huge long thing called Eve 2 that was about, it started with Eve and then it went to Pandora and Psyche and all the women in mythology that I could think of that had been disallowed their voice. An apple is an evil, evil thing. Witches and worms, poisons and germs, Snow White was tempted to chew. Symbol of lust, devils and dust, evil that Eve should eschew. Adam, quite frankly, was ready to roll. I merely gave him a chance. Am I to blame for his lost manly soul just because he got in mine? Well, an apple is an evil, evil thing. Witches and worms, poisons and germs, Snow White was tempted to chew. Symbol of lust, devils and dust, evil that Eve should eschew. I don't much care for the taste of this stuff. Give me a cafe au lait. I'm not the only one who's had enough. Apples are really passé. Women about me, you've something to say. Stand up for Eve and her choice. I didn't care for the apple that day. I merely wanted a voice. Catch some woe, catch me on the toe, carry all these apples to the king. Is it curiosity or just plain perversity that made me want to bite into this thing? Catch some woe, catch me on the toe, carry all these apples to the king. God or Zeus or Jupiter had to call on Lucifer to question why. I questioned why. Catch some woe, catch me on the toe, carry all these apples to the king. Why was God so mad when Adam ate the apple he should call me bad? If bad is asking why, I think I'd rather die than say I'd never wonder and then have to lie. Right, that's just part of this play that I wrote about Eve. So, oh, you're right. It went on forever. It had little songs and all sorts of things. I'm going to sing some songs about springtime because it's, when else do I have the chance? It turned spring last week, and then we forget about that, but it's spring. So I was in New York, and I was looking at all these trees. How many of you really know New York? Okay, well, anybody?
I was born there, but I left a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I've
Been there a couple of times.
You've been, okay. So most people kind of leave.
Spent a week there one day.
Were you there in the springtime? I was looking at these trees. We have them here too, but I was looking at all these trees. The white blossoming trees that everybody knows where they are, except that I was asking everybody in New York and they didn't. And they said they would check back and get back to me on what the name of that tree was. And then finally a taxi driver said, well, it's a pear tree. I said, okay, I just needed that to finish my song. So it's the flowering pear on the streets of the city. It's springtime in New York. A song's in the air, even Wall Street is pretty. When springtime fills New York, Miss Liberty used to roll on Staten, and Gandhi walks Union Square. My heart wants to burst on Houston and First, for springtime is everywhere. Taxis blaring, tempers flaring, blossoms explode on the trees. Even the metro's impossibly retro, yet everyone still agrees. When springtime fills New York, the world all stops and smiles. The birds and the breeze play tag in the trees on Brooklyn's enchanted miles. Fifth Avenue's in bloom, the sun's in every room, and scraping the sky, the buildings fly by. They're dreaming of old New York, 'cause it's springtime in old New York.
Wow.
I wrote that, thank you very much. I wrote that for my sort of musical about Clara Barton, actually. No, that one was for, of course, for Georgia O'Keeffe, because she gets into New York and that's really one of her major stations. She meets Stieglitz there. Anyway, that was 2 hours of music, but this was just a part of it. I also gave her a Chicago song. And you didn't know that Georgia O'Keeffe spent a lot of time in Chicago. And she actually was desperate to make money, and she had to draw these little lace. Do you remember, have you seen old advertisements that show a little bit of lace around?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Georgia O'Keeffe did those. At least she did a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And that was how she earned her money when she was desperate. That was before Georgia, found flowers and shadows and all the wonderful things that she found. Anyway, there is another song about springtime, and there's one about, but I think I'll do the other song. This is really more for kids. Flowers and sunshine, that means spring. Tulips and daffodils. Lovers and children like to sing and dream on the grassy hills. It's time to say hello, hello, to all the things that grow, to all the flowers and daffodils and everything we know. Little Miss Spring has fetched her broom, swept winter up the door. He's hurried to his hideaway, far from the blooming floor. Let all the world begin again, let all the world make love. Let all the flowers bloom again, and sing to the skies above. Because it's spring, it's spring. I'm gonna end with this. I do poems too. I don't just do songs. And this is very short. Okay. And I need my glasses for this. Do I have glasses?
Yeah. I can see how
Oh, no.
Oh, you need glasses?
I need glasses.
Look at
Yeah,
these.
no. It's okay.
I have glasses.
I found some.
You found them?
Yeah, I found some.
You don't want mine?
No, it's okay.
Mine feels lighted right now.
Oh, yeah, well, that's okay.
No, won't
Okay. No, I just want to say hello. Hello.
Oh.
Hello. I love you. Hello.
They're happy, look at them.
Life is full of poetry. We brush aside the beauty and the joy and lean into the pain until it too is saturated by the magic music of a gentle rain. Life is full of poetry. Caterpillars walking on the leaves like tiny bears. Yellow jackets cutting with their shears a meal or two. Snowflakes, numerous as bees, swarming in the wind. A lost goodbye, a running child, a cry of joy or of surprise, where grief is lost in droplets, sliding through a pool reflecting every sunrise.
Thank you so much. Claire Melander of the California Melander. All right, and now our closing act, a new person to me here anyway, West Mountain J. Have him come up here, he's ready to go, and then we'll take care of these fine and fabulous prizes which were designed with your mind in mind, as you will find.
So, I apologize for showing up on Wednesday.
No, that's our pleasure, we get to have somebody new. So
We
it's
do
good.
this.
I can do a little.
I'm gonna show up tomorrow night just so Ellen.
So we didn't welcome her, it's his first time here.
Oh, is this your first time here?
Yes.
Oh, well, we, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me pull this book back up off the floor. While he's getting ready, I'm just gonna introduce the prizes. Film, by Granta, all kinds of information about films. Lost in Tall Grass by Laura Schulkind or Kind. Schulkind, I think it is. This and also The Color of Water by James McBride, both bought by Mr. Stephen Erdreich, who recommends them well. In case you're interested in birds, this is not for the birds, Neighbors to the Birds, a history of bird watching in America. There's some good passages in here. I didn't read the whole thing. And then, of course, for those of you who want something weightier,
What?
the new Princeton Encyclopedia of Poetry and Poetics. Tear out the first page.
Tear out the first.
Well, like the Dead Poet Society, you know, in that first day, they take out the first introduction and the how to write a poem. And then, of course, either one of these two things pretty much next week. So, I blathered because I figured you would want a little time to get yourself set up rather than stand there in silence and be going, what's going on? What's going on? Why isn't Dan saying anything? Thank God he's not saying anything. So, anyway.
Alright, hi everyone, I'm West Mountain Jay.
Hi, West Mountain Jay.
For Wednesday night poetry hour, I'd like to do a little bit of poetry as well before I play. Hang your heart on laughing willow, straight down to the water, deep sea of love. Beneath the sweet calm face of the sea, swift undertow. Life may be sweeter for this, I don't know. Had a little pen and paper, inky scratches everywhere. Always looking for a paradise island until I found it everywhere. And now I'd like to play a couple songs for you guys. It is my first time doing this.
West Mountain.
I'm West Mountain Jake. I'm on Facebook.
Thank you. So you can come by any Wednesday night you want to do this thing. But to see when some musicians show up here, it's on Thursday night and Wednesday night because of things, but you're, we always have fun.
Mr. Natural runs it.
Yeah, Mr. Natural runs that.
The original Reno person from which that.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone for coming by.
And the guy from the Art Farm Comics, he's real.
Would you kindly show me just a tiny bit?
Oh.
So they can randomize the prize giving out and
You weren't there then.
door prizes here.
So much fun, I don't know. Oh, I'm getting used to it.
Thank you. At some point, it's all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
And now for the closing event of the evening, which is to distribute these door prizes, designed, of course, with your mind in mind. So a drum roll, please.